Okay, good evening, everybody. It's me, Lynn Rene MacDonald, here for our live talk forum. It is Wednesday night again. It is November 1st, 2023. We're here from the Institute for Christ Consciousness in the Copper Dragon in Virginia Beach, Virginia. And this is our live talk forum show. We have Rachel and Jennifer and Sophia, who are our usual standbys who help us out with the show here. And thank you guys for coming and for being here with us. And we also have Debbie here with us tonight as well. And thank you, Debbie, for coming. Debbie bought me a really cool gift. I feel like it's a birthday gift. So, as you guys know, my birthday was this month, and I got so many beautiful, wonderful blessings and wishes from everybody, and thank you so much. So I got a lovely gift from Debbie. Haven't opened it up yet. I'm probably going to open it up after the show, right? I don't want to make the show about my birthday. But thank you so much, Debbie. Debbie also bought us little what are they? Pumpkin treats. Yeah, pumpkin squares that her son made, and she shared them with us. Oh, and she got me a Perrier. Thank you. Which is lovely. You know, thank you, Debbie. You don't ever have to bring anything. I think you know that. Thank you, though. I'm super grateful. So, got my lime Perrier here. I see everybody coming up. Hey, we're going to answer your questions from last week. If there are any, we're going to answer your questions from this week. We have some stories and things that we're going to continue talking about from last week. And we have some new stuff as well with what's going on in the world in terms of our personal lives and the businesses where people aren't following through and are losing their shit with packages. I posted a lot of stuff on the internet. Also, I don't know if we've really talked in depth about the food poisonings that are going on here, like we've talked about a little bit about lab-grown meats, Bill Gates and his appeal company or appeal covering that's going on fruits and vegetables. Excuse me. We all really got to watch out for that. Okay, so we're going to talk about these things. We're going to compare or just do a little comparison, a little more bit in astrology on Vladimir Putin and Donald Trump, where we left off from last week. We're going to add some more things to our astrology work and the collective, and so we all get a better understanding about these world people who are very powerful people in the future plan of the light and the possibilities of what can come and happen, as well as the downfalls in the energy of our charts or in our souls. For example, Vladimir Putin and Donald Trump are extremely different in the way that they handle things and their personalities. And one of Donald Trump's downfalls is he trusts too many people that end up being of the darkness and bringing him down, where Vladimir Putin is a whole different can of worms and far more wiser than that. So you have two world powers that handle everything completely differently, to pick up where we left off last week. And we're going to talk a little bit about that and why that is. And the charts were posted on my page. Again, they're subconscious and conscious astrology charts, all right, which is a mirror into their souls. It shows you all the information that you need to know, and all of us, as well as them, is always in our astrology, okay? So just letting everybody know. And thanks everybody for coming. You know what our show is about. It's about teaching love. What we do is we teach the formula of love with everything that we do. We answer your questions here live. We talk about world current events and things in the world that come up that God or love leads us to, so that we can live our greatest life. And we give you all the tools so that no matter what happens here in Earth World, you guys are prepared. We're building a community, and we do great things here across the board, all right, to help everybody. And that's what our hearts are about. So that said, you can donate as well if you are, if you feel it in your heart. And donation can be financially. Donation can be, by sending people to our shop and center, telling them about us, or you coming in or sharing our show, however or whatever way that you need to do it, that you feel in your heart that you can donate, because it's about energy exchange from love. Okay. But I tell people all the time, don't donate, don't do something that you don't truly feel in your heart. Okay. That said, we're going to start our show for tonight. I'm going to ask Jennifer. I see all you guys coming on here. I see Andrew Karate, I think. Hey, Andrew. And I'm going to have Jennifer and or Rachel tell me who's here. And Debbie, thanks for coming and thanks for everything. Thank you. It's great to see you too.
Good to see you too.
Yeah. And Sophia, thanks for coming. And Jen and Rachel, as always, thanks for being here and part of our team. All of you guys. Thank you. All right, so go ahead. Who's here, Ray?
We have Teresa.
Hey, Teresa.
We have Nikki and Evelyn.
Nikki and Evelyn. Hey, guys.
We have Andrew and we have Susie, we have Dee, and we have Sarah Sutra.
Cool. Thank you, everybody, for coming. Thank you so much. Thanks for being part of it. Do we have any questions yet for tonight?
We do, actually. We have Nikki, who is going to be calling in, if you're ready for her.
Okay. Sure. We're going to start doing questions now. Thanks, everybody, again, for coming. Many blessings. And Nikki's got a question, and she's going to call in, and we're going to see where we go from here.
Hopefully she'll pick up shortly.
Okay. All right. Well, this is classic Nikki. We talked about patterns. Nikki does this. So we're waiting for Nikki. That's right. Nothing like a little bit of humor. Hey, Nikki, are you here? Hey. Can you see me?
How are you?
I'm good. We got Nikki. I think she's driving. She's in her car, but I think you can see me there. So we're all right. Can we hear you?
I wasn't expecting y'all to be this quick.
Okay. Well, do you want to hang up and call back later, a little bit later, or what works for you?
We're literally just pulling up.
So, what would you like to do?
Explain my question.
What do you want to do?
I can explain my question because we're literally just pulling in.
Okay, go ahead and explain it.
So, Evelyn says hi. And
Hey, Evelyn.
Evelyn had a book story that she had to do a project on, and it was called The Quiet People or The Quiet Game.
Mm-hmm.
And the silent game. It was about like kids playing the silent game, and as the book progressed, all the kids had to stay silent. And at the very end of the book, it stated, "Oh, and this is an indigenous, Native American book story."
And this is from school?
Yes, and Evelyn's in 4th grade.
Okay, so Nikki's daughter Evelyn is in 4th grade, and she has a book that the teacher is reading? Or what's going
The whole
on?
class read. Yeah.
What?
The whole class read.
All right, the whole class read, and there's something about staying silent for the book. It's an indigenous book, and they're trying to keep the kids silent, or what's going on?
So the kids were playing the silent game, and I don't know all the details of the book, but the ending of the book really got me angry because it said all the kids won the silent game, but they have bigger things to face, and more important things, like the stealing and taking of their land. And I got so angry
Okay.
because I found, we all know that is part of our history, but my daughter's in 4th grade, and she shouldn't be reading books that kind of tell her to hate herself as an American. Because she had nothing to do with it. None of us had anything to do with it. And I feel like if you're going to learn about atrocities done by any group, it should be for an older audience. And I have been thinking about this for days, and part of me wants to write a letter explaining how I don't think that book is appropriate culturally for X, Y, and Z. And I want to offer them a different book. It's called The Scar-Faced Girl. I read it when I was in elementary school and again in high school, and it's a fantastic book. It's based off of folklore, but it's the indigenous Cinderella, and it teaches self-love and how to look beyond ourselves, and you can see the inner beauty in the soul of a person.
Okay.
And I think that touches more on traditional indigenous culture than them playing the silent game.
Okay. All right.
And I kind of wanted to see your thoughts on it because it just made me so heated.
Right. Well, my thoughts on this. First of all, did everybody here in the audience hear Nikki? I believe that you did. If you didn't, please speak up, okay? So there's some controversy here about what the children are doing in school, and they're in Evelyn's 4th grade, about indigenous people, the books that they're reading, the silent game, and then the end saying that basically that their land was stolen at the end, and they're teaching this to fourth graders. Again, to me, this feels like it's all part of the narrative. There's a positive and healthy way to do this from love, all right? And now I don't know the whole dynamics because we haven't sat down and really truly tore it up, discussed it. I don't know really what the silent game is about, but the way that you spoke is that they talk about the book, and then at the end they hit them with the land, being stolen from them, right? Again, this is not unlike the slavery thing with black and white, or, here in the, the whole woke energy. None of it is well, clearly, but all history has continuous unwellness in it. Because until people come from a higher vibration of love, this is the energy that we have in this dimension in Earth world, right? So you are not wrong by any kind of means. You're in the right, so to speak, from love. Absolutely. Because you're feeling that this isn't right. You'd like to take a different book with her, right? Or to the class, and you'd like to tell them about it, right? But here's the deal. I like your idea. I would have to read that book and then in the other book and compare them. But truly, from what you are saying, this is totally toxic. And it doesn't feel right. It feels like it's all in the woke, quote unquote, narrative, which is seriously toxic. There's a positive way to do things, and then there is less than positive, meaning, or a space of love, best way to do things, and a less than that, right? And I do agree with you. See, if you're going to get into where you're going to talk about how land was stolen from people, there is a better context than saying that this is just the way it was and this is the only thing here, when this is an epidemic in Earth world consciousness. You see what I'm saying? In this dimension, it has gone on and on and on for centuries. Truth be told, this kind of shit, right? And it isn't about being Native American or Indian or African American or Jewish or Catholic. It's about all toxic. Truly, it's about toxic being done to people, to each other, from really unwell places in our souls. And the woke community is based on the toxic energy of darkness. This is the whole idea of this. And the shot also, right, the COVID-19 shot facilitates this, right, has facilitated this. In other words, people's darknesses, people's crap, it kind of sets them back in time in who they are in their souls. I've seen a lot of people come and grow a long way, and then they've been inoculated, and old ways they've regressed. And it's also happening in business where people aren't able to follow through. And we've talked about these things with this whole COVID-19 shot, right? We've talked about a lot of the problems that are happening. And the more we live in Earth world, the problems that are happening with it, the more we live in Earth world, the more we see the truth of how it's affecting people, how it's affecting businesses, how it's affecting school systems, ourselves, each other, our relationships. Do you see? So that said, it's all part of that, what you are speaking of. There's no doubt about it. And the truth is, they're not going to hear you. It doesn't matter what books. I don't have to dive into it. I already know that your heart is in the right place, right? You're with us, all of us. Your heart is of the light. There's no doubt in my mind. And the way you have spoken and your whole track record in the last several years of working together with you proves this. It doesn't mean we don't have challenges, right? But I know your energy and what you have said here today totally is in alignment, with love. There's no doubt. I know that, right? So, and I feel that in my heart. But there is no use in sitting here and trying to tell these people who cannot hear you, cannot hear us, cannot hear, right? They don't want to hear. They're of a lower vibration, and it's being multidimensional in different spaces. It's basically sides of taking the dark and the light, and so you're not going to change these people. They're not going to change this. The teacher isn't going to change this. The teacher is part of the dark curriculum. Do you see? And unless the teacher gets out of there or decides to do something different or gets, I don't know what you'd say, removed from that job because of her behavior, because her behavior would be not with what their ideals are or ideology, what they feel is right. And again, this is about indoctrinating your kid into this incredible darkness and making them feel terrible just like you said. And this is really what's going on in the school systems at such young little people ages, and they're doing it awake, like really young, from the beginning to into college ages. This is all what they're doing. This is what the systems have here in the colleges. They're indoctrinating the people. The best thing everybody can do is totally not go to school anymore. You want to learn, you ask God for the best way to learn. And so you are coming to a crossroads, and really that's what this is really about. You're coming to a crossroads with your daughter Evelyn, and it's almost time, so to speak, probably after this year, if not before then, to remove her from the public schooling. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And
we've been talking about that.
Yes. And so, because it's a big deal. It's a big deal. Just like my daughters, right, were removed out of the school system. We took some computer courses. We did homeschooling, and then we did other classes out here, but you really have to pay attention to what is going on with the world. You have to ask God for the best education, ask God or love for the best way to do things. Do you see? And you will be led to those things. Just like when you drive somewhere and all of a sudden it doesn't feel safe, you will be told through the energy what the best way to do things. If you don't understand it, ask again. Always. That's what we teach here. Ask and you shall receive. This too is the truth. So you're coming to that crossroads because just like your daughter, my one daughter, Sophia, was like all hating herself because she was white. And I'm like, and she comes out of school, right, for I think she's 6th grade, right up to the 6th grade. And this is quite a few years ago now. Right? And already this was happening in the school systems. So people wake up because this is what's going on out there, and it's creep. It's absolutely creep. And if you can't do it, you ask God that you can, meaning remove your kids from this environment, have the best school systems, have the best teachers. All of these things will be changing and coming. There will be other people, other parents like us who will homeschool in a different way. But then also it's about getting to the God's honest truth about everything that happened, but teaching from love. Yes, this did happen. Yes, this is a horrible thing. No, you're not bad because of this. It doesn't mean that it couldn't be in your family energy, but you're not literally responsible for this kind of toxic. And we have to explore that because really it is all of humanity and the vibration in those dark spaces within that humanity all through time. What has to be addressed and healed and changed. And this is also why we do the astrology, why we do the energy work, why we remove these patterns and these unwellnesses and these energies in us and the emotional crap that's all tied up in this, which is dark, right? Having a chip on your shoulder from, being a slave from lifetimes that we brought forward in this reality is how this stuff gets all brought out of hand, berserk, because we're in unwell places in our souls and this has to come out. So I'm really glad that you asked this, and it has to be released and it has to be healed. But there's a way to talk to people from love. And all of this is coming, just like we do in the show, right? Just like we teach in the shop, in the center, right? We set the example, whoever we are, by our hearts and doing the right thing. I say to people all the time, you don't know what the right thing to do is? Ask love what that is. Ask love to speak through you. Ask love to handle it. And you will never, ever be saying the wrong thing, doing the wrong thing, or being toxic from a less than the purest form of love space that you could be in, because it doesn't work that way. Do you see what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. So you are right, meaning in terms of this is toxic. There's stuff that is appropriate at certain ages for children, but we have lost all the boundaries, right, of wellness, of when to do stuff across the board in our society with all the woke stuff and all the placements and the astrology of the energy of all that is God. All right, we've moved out of a massive Pluto and Capricorn era. We're moving into Pluto and Aquarius. All right, and people think, oh, it's the age of Aquarius and it's about love and everything's going to be wonderful. And again, as I've said many times before, it can be, has the propensity to be, but it means that we have to go through it to get to it. It doesn't mean, if you look at Aquarius energies, one of the biggest things is AI. One of the biggest things is totalitarianism. Do you see what I'm saying? So everyone thinks it's about peace and harmony, like that Fifth Dimension song, but so much more to it than just that. And it's about the people, working on them, coming from their heart. And all of these things are developing now. All these energies, all these kind of battles within of all of this and in the outside world with the school systems, with the people. Each person that stands up stands against the toxic woke ideology. You see, because this is how we go and move through Earth world in our physicality to change these things. So it must be done, right? For the best way to change the world from love. And this is the way we do things in Earth world, but also it must be done always from here first, and from your heart, meaning from your heart. All right. So all of this is the truth about how these things work, and these things will be changing to love, to the best formulas. People will be coming together. So ask and you shall receive. While there seems like there's no groups or no way to school your children or no way to send them to college on the horizon, the soul calls in whatever it needs with its God connection on a subconscious soul level from its heart, from the purest space of its heart, and brings you every single thing you need. So it is coming. The changes and the things that you need, so you don't get stuck in this stuff. And yes, I would say, if you feel called to it, then go ahead and write them, but it doesn't mean that they're going to hear you. And the next question becomes, where do I want to put my energy? Do I want to put my energy into looking into other options for my daughter for schooling, or starting some kind of schooling system myself? And write down a list, brainstorm with God or love in your heart for what you want to do instead of doing this, because you're going to hit a wall, because the energy is that. Of course, sometimes you have to go through that process to realize that you're going to hit the wall. Do you see? You have to go through the Earth world process, like a divorce. You have to go through and finally get your divorce license before you can really release that energy. You have to do it in Earth world to physically go through it, to get through it. And this is all part of the process of balancing metaphysical, your heart, your God space, right, with Earth world energy and balancing that energy. So the question becomes, again, where are your boundaries? Where do you want to put your energy that's best for you and your daughter? And this is for all of us, because these questions are not just yours. This is our whole society. This is the whole collective, And so these are things that have to be addressed. And you have to pick and choose, each one of us on an individual level, what our soul calls in, what is aligned with our destiny for what we want to do, as well as, do we really want to do this, or where do we want to put our energy, and where are those boundaries? How can we fit this in? And all of this is done by what we feel in our hearts and talking with love in the healthiest, best way from love. But more often than not, we're already in tune. We already know what our destinies are. We already know what we should be doing. And so if we feel called to do it, we do it. You see what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. So I hope everybody understands that. And if you don't, then please ask. So really, this is the truth. You're really in alignment with what you feel is right and not right in your heart. All right? Because it doesn't, again, matter what race, what has happened to anybody. It has happened to all of us. It has happened to the whole world. It is a humanity problem in this reality. It is a darkness problem in this reality. Darkness within ourselves from lifetimes, as well as the darkness that is manifest and has become this hell here that is Earth. Okay? Doesn't mean that you have to see it as hell, because there are many beautiful things, and our job here is to bring us back to love, bring us back to seeing the world as beautiful as it is, and just like America and all of the world, not just, the American people, but all people, bringing everything back to love. And that's part of the grand design and the work that we will be doing here. But our souls will lead us with this high-end God energy and with the energy of the stars, which is all that is God, that is love, to everywhere that we need to do. And we're all in it together. So does that make sense to everybody?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. So do you have any questions, Nikki, in reference to this?
No, I think my biggest concern was if I did go to a PTA meeting and express my grievances, would Evelyn have a backlash? Because I'm not really connecting with her teacher. So, but like I said, everything that you said makes perfect sense.
Right. You could go to a meeting, and you have to understand that you still may run into that backlash, but you have to, it behooves you. You don't have to do anything, but it behooves you to pray on your stuff before you go. Make sure that you're safe before you go, because people are losing their shit in this reality. It should be that we can agree to disagree from love. You understand? And I know that you do, right? But That's how it should be. So you should be able to go to this meeting, but in this world, people have become so volatile. I mean, look what's happening in the streets with the hate America, the hate Palestine, or hate the Jews, or whatever. There's so much hate, so much toxic, all of this unwellness, and it's all in the people, it's all in the darkness. And so you and all of us cannot not be understanding that we have to deal with this energy. Why? Because we're in this reality. So how do you and all of us protect ourselves from that? We pray on it. We create what we want to happen beforehand. But we also have an earth world plan. Do you understand? Like, we park where the light is. We go with somebody else. You understand? You know, we know what the hours are. We know who's going to be there. You know, and you create everything with God or love in the best way from love. You ask love to speak through you. You ask love to handle it. You ask love that they hear you. You ask love for change. If you feel you want to do this. So you pray on everything, create it with love or God, universe, angels, you know, create what you want to happen so that you create the best outcome from here, and both in earth world. And if you don't know what to ask for in earth world, because you want to protect yourself, you know, there's so much crazy stuff going on, you know, where people are getting or can get attacked. I mean, we had Rachel who went away for her sister's wedding, and on the way home, she almost got abducted in one of the rest areas. Right, Rachel? Yeah, they tried to corner her literally in the bathrooms. These two different guys came out and tried to corner her, and she knew what was going on, thank God, because she's super connected to God. And what did you do, Rachel? Did you pray?
I think I did.
Yeah. She goes, I think I did, right? But her boyfriend was in the other bathroom, thank God, and when he came out, that totally kind of foiled the plan because she went off with them, right? But this is scary times, people. This is no joke. It scared the living shit out of Rachel. Yeah. I'm sure. Yeah. You know, I mean, this is the kind of shit that's happening. But, you know, when you go to a meeting like this and everybody's woke and you're the only guy there who's not woke, you want to make sure that you have a plan that protects you from love. Do you see? You're always going to be protected by God. It's about earth world wisdom. It's not unlike, you know, the world may never fall apart, but you want to make sure you have all the supplies, all the tools that you need to survive in these times. If there is a month blackout, if the world, you know, if they do send the UN over here and there's world soldiers, like if it comes to manifestation, because it is out here in the energy, you can see it coming to fruition, right? But it doesn't mean that it's literally going to happen, but you must be prepared for it in earth world as much as you can be. But your biggest key always is to work with love, work with God, be in your heart, and always be in those spaces where you talk to God and you create everything you can, especially with situations like this, right? Or when Rachel's going out somewhere. I tell my daughters all the time, you know, they call it a swivel head, but it makes me a little nervous when I think of a swivel head, you know, especially in Algol times for decapitation. It scares me, right? Or gives me the creeps, right? I can't really say it scares me, but clear it out if it does for all of us, right? From love. So what I'm talking about is having eyes behind your head, being aware of what's going on around you and making a plan. You know, if you go to Walmart at 3:00 in the morning to go shopping, is that really a wise choice? Is it wiser for people to be around you? You know, and are you locking your doors? Are you closing your windows? Are you ready with a plan if somebody does try to abduct you? Because this is the world we're living in, and situations like what you're talking about lend itself to the mob mentality. Just like, you know, all the riots that you see out here, you know, in our country, but they're happening everywhere, people, all over the world. They're rioting, they're hating Americans, they're hating Israelis, they're hating, you know, whatever it is that they're hating that's out here, right? Because the truth is they're toxic within themselves. Because love doesn't do these things. Love sits down and says, what's the best way to handle this from love? And that's how it works. So we set the example, but it doesn't mean we throw ourselves into the boiling hot lava. You know what I mean? You have to prepare for these things. So you always have the best tools. And that's for all of us. And there will be situations where, you know, we may be traveling and there's 5 lanes of traffic and then there's a whole row of protesters and lots of them and they're blocking the road. What are you going to do? Are you going to drive right up there and get all in their shit? No. You're going to see it ahead of time. You're going to turn the fuck around. And if you have to, you're going to go the wrong way on the fucking road to get the fuck out of there, because you're going to do what is best for you. You know, it is never wise to sit there and have arguments and battles with them in the middle of the fucking road. They're there for toxic purposes. Their intent is toxic. You feel it, you know it. Them, by not wanting you to go past, is an aversion to your best well-being and your best space of love. So therefore, and it's not in alignment with love. They may think and believe that it is, but it is truly not. There is a better way always from love. So what are you going to do? If you have to ride on the wrong side of the road, you do. And you just get on the side of the road. You ask and you pray. You ask God to handle it. And you get the fuck out of there. You don't intimidate. You don't antagonize. You don't do any of those things. Why? Because it's not in your best interest from love. And you ask God what to do. You ask love how to handle it, and ask love to remove you from the situation in the healthiest, best way. But this is those situations that we're running into, and more we're going to see crazy stuff like this. I've literally been in situations where it was 4 a.m. I was traveling to a show, and there's cars in the middle of the road. Nobody's in the cars. Doors wide open. Nobody knows where anybody is. Am I going to stop there? Nope. I'm going to go the fuck around them. I'm not interested in what's going on there unless God tells me I need to be or I need to help. And if I do, I'm going to be praying and talking to God the whole time. But if they're out there and they're in my way and it doesn't feel good and it doesn't feel right, I'm going to drive past them. I'm going to call the police and say, hey, there's a car. This is what's happening. This is what's going on. I'm on Route 66 or wherever I am. There's a car on the side. I'm not going to be the guy to stop and go and help unless I'm guided to by higher knowing. And you bet I'm going to ask and totally make sure that I feel that that's the right thing to do, and I'm sure of it with love or God. Do you see what I'm saying? And that's for these are all tools for all of us, because we may never necessarily need these, but thank God if we don't. Thank God if we don't, because the plan here is for us to build a better America from love, for sure. But sometimes we have to go through rough shit in Earth world to get through this, and we're living in a toxic, dark world of brainwashing and ideologies that are absolutely over the top toxic, because you can be anything you want to be, and you can be that from love in a healthy space, and you can honor, and you can respect, and you can have integrity, and you can do the right thing for yourself and everybody, and be whatever you want to be, as long as you can be in those spaces and in your heart and working with love. And Capricorn code of ethics, because that's what this is. It's the highest code of ethics with love, and with Capricorn Cancer. Okay, so there is your answer. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Yeah. So you good? Do you have any other questions about it?
Nope, I'm good. Thank you so much.
Yeah, and just like they do, you're super welcome. Safety in numbers. Remember that. I like my kids to go places. I like them to tell me where they're going. I like to know when the time ends. So it's about being wise. Yeah, it's a different world. When I was a kid, I used to disappear for hours. My parents never asked me where the hell I was. I would leave at 10 o'clock in the morning. They'd be like, you better come home for lunch. And sometimes I didn't. If I didn't, then they'd call around and find out where I was. But we don't live in that world anymore. I would go for walks in the woods for hours where I lived, way back in northern New Jersey, way back in time, in my life. It's not those times anymore. Absolutely not. And it's really sad, but the idea here is to bring back all of these wonderful things where we were safe, where the world was a different place based in good and positive things from love. And this is the goal here, So thanks, Nikki, because this was great for everybody and for us to elaborate on all of these things, because we're going to be challenged in these times with what is coming. It's going to be interesting, but what we do is we feel in our hearts, we ride the edge of all these different dimensional spaces, right? Of the dark and the light. Okay, we ride the edge, always staying in our heart and always being with the light. The light will always talk to us. You will know days before if you got to get off the East Coast, or you need to move west, or you need to move north, or you need to prepare for this. Just like I was saying last week, if I'm still here in Virginia Beach, I'm right where I need to be. I'm right where I need to be. If I haven't moved, if I haven't started a property, and if I haven't done all the things that I've talked about going and doing, then it is not time for that yet. Or have wanted to do, it is not time for that yet. I'm right where I am, where I'm going to be safest and where I'm supposed to be in the now. And until I feel and know different with God or love, or some other doorway opens up here, this is what I know. And this is for all of us. We're right where we need to be always. So if we haven't done what we thought we should be doing to protect ourselves, remember, that's key. What I thought I should be doing. Not wisdom think. Do you see what I'm saying? Meaning thinking from your heart, knowing from your heart, feeling from your heart, or a feel think. Totally different things. It's, if you think about, the cards, these kinds of cards in in tarot, right? You think about the cards, right? The heart is the wand. It is the magic. It is the staff, right? And the sword is the headspace thinking. And your most cutthroat cards are the sword. Think of it, Algol, stabbing you to death, cutting off your head, you know? And so these are things to think about with the energies of what's going on in these times and understanding. But there's a reason, like in the cards where you have the swords card. You know, this is intellect. The swords is air and intellect. And what we're talking about is being in our heart with the magic, the wands, the magic of God. But we also have to balance this in all these spaces where we don't become delusional, where we lose our boundaries. Do you see? So there's a lot always more going on that meets the eye. And it is complex. And the best way to decipher and figure it out is working with love, always being in your heart, always feeling the right thing. So Nikki, I do feel you got this. I feel you can make a plan if you so choose for whatever you want to do, and you can brainstorm and go from there. Okay, girl?
Yep, thank you.
Thank you. And thanks, Nick. I don't know if you can see me there. All right. Love you, and we'll see you when you're inside. I'm going to give the phone to Rachel, okay? Here you go, Ray. Thank you. All right, guys. So we got Nikki's question answered.
Yes.
And a lot more info from there. And thanks God for that for us. You know, all good things from love. Okay, I see. Oh, Kathy Warmack's here. Hi, Kathy. Thanks for the hugs. I see you on there. Thanks. Okay. So we have another question?
Well, we have Susie Lynn saying that if all the shit goes down, we can come to her house. She's got 6 air mattresses.
Oh, wow. All right. That's cool. And Susie Lynn, I'm glad you said that. So if everyone heard Rachel, Susie Lynn said, you know, everybody can go to her house. You know, she's got 6 air mattresses. I believe she lives up in the mountains, which is really cool. So that's a good kind of safe place outside of the cities. So it's good now to, you know, just like we're building a community here, we have a community. It's good to know who your neighbors are, have a community where you can depend on each other. If shit hits the fan, you know, you want to make sure that, you know where your kids are. You have a place where you're all going to meet. A bug out bag is good, but if you don't feel that you need one, then that means you're supposed to stay in that space that you're in. But you ask God, you ask love. So thanks, Susie Lynn. And when you ask love, you'll know everything that you need to do. But that's what it's about, Susie Lynn. It's about building a community. If I need a sanctuary, a space, I can always go there. But, you know, you never know what's going to be on my travels between here and, let's say, West Virginia or wherever I'm called to go, you know, from love, that my community or my people are giving me refuge. So wherever I have to go, I have to get there. And so these tools are all going to assist me in getting there and getting there safely, and all of us being safe. And we help each other with our mad skills, the services we bring, all the, you know, whatever, you know, food, water, materials that we have as well. And think about protection too, because protection is going to be key here as well. How do I protect myself and my family, you know, board up my stuff? So there's big decisions if it does come to that. And there is a propensity for it too, and it changes. Everything that is God is constantly changing all the time, from you know, from 23 to 27%, but this right now is pretty hot and heavy. It's 73 to 83, 89% that there's going to be physical altercations and a lot of pretty dark shit happening in America. But there's also internal knowing from love or God or universe about the core of the American people truly being in their hearts. And you know which ones those are. These are our people. Doesn't matter what color you are, doesn't matter what ethnicity, what race, you know, as long as you are in your heart, the American people and all people from the world will come together from their hearts to take care of this darkness. And they'll do what it takes, because the power of love is far more powerful than anything darkness can dish out. And you have all the tools by working with love, by being in your heart, by talking with God, by feeling. You will know instantly what to do, when to do, how to do, what not to do, and whatever you need will be provided for you always. Always, no matter what. And if you don't know what you need, you ask. And if you don't know what to ask for, you ask God that it is so, that it is provided for you, whatever you need. Do you see? And your neighbor will be like, take my car if you don't have a car. We'll go together. You know, it's incredible how this energy works. And you don't have to think about it or figure it out. You just have to be in your heart, listen to your heart, feel in your heart, talk to higher power, love, God, right? We're not talking about darkness here. We're talking about love. Okay, so these are great tools, and thanks, Susie Lynn, because, it's important. And the same thing I tell people, when the shit does hit the fan, we're going to be coming together, and the rules that are of the old world earth ways are going to be thrown right the fuck out the door when it comes to everybody's health, everybody's well-being, needing a place to stay, helping out each other. So it's going to be wild times for sure, not unlike, Dodge City or Wild Wild West, right? But, everybody will be coming from love and will be there for each other, and it's going to really, be a great thing in the end. But we got to get through it, and by working with higher power, you always be, working with love, you always be in the right space, no matter what. Okay? All right. So thanks everybody. All right. And that's what's so great about building the community here, sharing. And if you can't get on the internet, where is a safe place to stay? Again, where are we going to meet if the phones are down, if there's no electricity? Everybody needs to know where to go, what our plan is, and have a plan. Okay? All right. So who else tonight for questions or anything anyone's sharing here?
Charles Layton.
Okay. Hey, Charlie. Yeah. I'm glad you're here. Florida? Are you still in Florida?
Well, that's his question. He says he's back in Virginia, and he wants to know, is that the right move for him?
I get for now. For now it is. I feel like there's some stuff here that you have to take care of first. And it has to do with family, I feel. It's also about beginnings, endings, and new beginnings. So there's stuff with family that you have to go through, live through, take care of, and process as you're deciding where you want to go from here, and what you want to do. But I do feel that you're going to end up back in Florida. And it's pretty neat. I don't know where you were, but Ocala comes in for you. And it's interesting because Ocala is coming in for so many people that I know, and they're going to Ocala, and, it's pretty crazy. But Florida definitely, okay? Florida definitely, comes in for you, but I feel like you're going to be here for a little while. I feel like it's about protecting your family. It's about, again, Capricorn, Cancer, code of ethics, doing the right thing by love. Your family is number one to you. It's super important to you. So your soul is working through all of this and is going to be making some serious life decisions into the future. How do I adapt with my family? Do I want to stay with this family? Do I want to change how the family structure is? Do I want them all to come with me, or do I want to stay here and make it work, kind of a thing? This is all stuff that your soul is working out. I feel you'll be working this out for the next 6 to 8 months, and maybe longer than that. But a lot of this also pertains to what happens in the collective. One button is pressed over here, or something happens in the collective. Black flag, I think they call them black flag events, or whatever they call them. But big events happen here, changes everything in our energy, each of us in an individual way. Okay, as well as on a collective scale. So these things will also have a propensity for playing a role in the destiny and the changes that you make within yourself, as they will, not just for you, but for everybody out here. What comes next with China, with Russia, with Israel, with Palestine, with Iran, with all the immigrants and that have been let into this country, toxically, the UN vehicles. I mean, all of these things have a great propensity to be a darkness storm, and it's no mistake. So what happens with all of this, and how we are part of it or removed from it, but how it affects the people we love, our communities, ourselves on a personal level, is going to change us forever. There is no doubts about it. But it will change us ultimately in a positive, healthy way, because we have, a world and humanity of huge darkness, where these people really are toxic in their belief systems, and this has to change. But they have bought into this ideology of darkness, and so we have to ride this out. In order for these people to get out of these spaces, they really truly have to go through great, incredible suffering. That does not mean that the people of the light like us are going to go through it in the same way, right? Does not mean that. Does that mean that you are super protected by God? But this can't not affect us if you have a heart or empathic, as well as what is the other word? Compassionate, right? And you naturally, if you are in your heart and you're working with God in love, you know what the right thing to do is and what is not the right thing. And so you can't. It's very almost virtually impossible with a Capricorn Cancer code of ethics to not feel for humanity and these dark spaces and the suffering that is coming and that has already happened, like the Hamas attack in Israel, right? I mean, my God, anybody couldn't have tears come to their eyes with the atrocities and so that have gone on, and not talking about the reasons why that happened or the wars within that and all the other garbage. What's right is right from love, and war is not about raping and beheading children and all that other crap. That's about incredible demonic darkness. I don't care what the fuck religion or people you are. This is the truth of God and love. And in those spaces, it's horrific stuff. I don't care who you are. In your human space, okay, you understand this and you know this. And when it hits people on a personal level, because that's where it hits hardest and the most. When it hits people on those levels, there's going to be great suffering. When these people who have become part of this darkness that is out here in Earth world, that has fueled all the woke and the crap and the garbage and the unwellness, at whatever level of vibration of it they are at, there is great suffering coming for them, as well as all the demonic and darkness as well. Because you can't escape the wrath of God. It is everything. It is karma. Now, when I say the wrath of God, it's all in the formula of all that is God or love. The formula of love energy here in Earth world and in the spaces of darkness as well as the spaces of light. So so many people are going to have to go through it to get it. Just like valuing our health. Sometimes we have to go through the choices that we make with the COVID shot or the sicknesses that we get and have to have to address within ourselves or with our families, and the losses of life. With this is great suffering. And as a compassionate in a healthy human being space, we can't not ignore those things. And we have a world that has become removed from this. It's all about the self. It's all about narcissism. It's all about me, 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 me. I don't give a fuck about you or your family. When really Capricorn Code of Ethics is all about family. It's all about love. It's all about doing the right thing. And so this is what has been lost in this. And this is what needs to be returned. So, 98% of the time it cannot happen without great suffering. That's why Earth World is a bear. It is a bear, the Earth World journey. If I sat here and talked about all the suffering and all the shit I have been through in my life, and all of us, it's not just me, man, it's all of us. We have to go through it to get to those higher places of love, the understanding of all of this. And we are here in this dimension as the workers of light, as the highest consciousness here, to change all of this, to fight this darkness, to change all of this. Okay? So, Charlie, these are the things that you're going to see and that are going to have to be addressed. And all of us as well. All of us are going to have to go through this whole process of living in Earth world. And again, it reminds me of the story of Moses in the Bible. Now, this doesn't mean I employ everything that's in the Bible. As I always say, there is truths in everything. But I know in my heart and love, from the purest form of love, that when I speak of the story of Moses, and Moses, this is a piece from that story, and Moses realizes that the Pharaoh's son is going to die, right? And Moses cries in the street. This is the pain that I'm talking about, seeing what happens to other people and the people that you love because they can't get it. They don't get it. They're stuck in those dark energies and those dark spaces within themselves, and they just can't. And so it's not going to be easy. We've already seen a lot of that. We've seen all the people with the COVID-19 change so drastically and so much. People that I have loved like crazy. I've lost so many clients, and they're a hot mess, and they don't even see it. They don't even get it. They're so disconnected from their hearts, and like really all their beautifulness is gone. That was their hearts, and I'm like, holy shit. It's heartbreaking. But this is the process. Doesn't mean they can't get back into those spaces. They can. But they got to be able to get into those spaces to be able to be conscious of it, to be aware, just like being aware of your surroundings, being aware of who you are, what you're doing. Are you in your heart? Are you doing the right thing from love? Because this is all of what we're talking about. This is all of this, both in the collective and what's coming, all right? And this should give you all a better understanding of how things are going to go down, and so you will all be super protected from light. And in an instant, the dark can become the light. All it has to do is change. Just like all of us. I can choose to be a better person. I can choose to not sleep with my neighbor's husband. I can choose to not steal my neighbor's flowers off the porch. All of these things, right, are choices that you can make from love, because you don't want to be that person anymore. You want to be an example for the world from love. So you do the right thing, and those things won't even come into your consciousness. And if they do, you're going to clear them out and put the best way to be from love. Thanks God for that for us always. From love in the purest form. In this reality, any reality, and all that is. And thank you, God, for these gifts for us now, please, always from love. And thank you for these gifts in our souls and in all we are, be, say, do, and create in the best way for us and all or something better. And thank you, God, for that for us. So remember, we got all the power. All right, Charlie? So you're going to be going through it as we all are, but you got this. You're a strong, powerful guy. Your heart is in the right place. Your heart is in the right place. And when you get a chance, if you're in Virginia Beach, please do come around and see me. You know where I am. And bring my girl, Laura. Come on now. Bring my girl, Laura, okay? Love to see you. All right. All right. So who's next? Do we have someone?
Teresa.
Okay.
She said that her 3 daughters all found a snake in their homes within a week, and she's wondering what your take is on this.
All right. I'm assuming, Teresa, so correct me if I'm wrong, that you looked up snake and you looked up the spirit animal energy for what snake represents. Okay, there's multiple different energies that come with snakes. Snakes can come with betrayal, i.e. the Adam and Eve story, right? From the Bible. Okay, the Adam and Eve and the snake, influence there. So with snakes can come darkness. There's absolutely a truth in that. However, I do feel it's about transformation. You guys have been through it. Your family has been through it. With the loss of Bradley, I feel, this is all part of that process. And 3 of your daughters have had snakes, as you've said, and snakes are all about transformation. I feel like you have crossed the road of that darkness with the loss of him in this reality. Your family has, and it's about transformation. It's about healing. So I do feel this is what's coming, and what's happening, really, and that's the message with this. But you can also look up, we have a spirit animal book here that's written by, I think, Doreen Virtue's ex-husband, funny enough. I forget his name. Is it Steve? Stephen Farmer. Spirit animal book. You could get that one. There's another, I particularly like that one because it doesn't go into days about talking about things. I like to get to the point right up whenever possible, especially with our crazy lives and our scheduling. So you can look this up in other books, as well as on the internet, Spirit Animal Guide, Spirit Animal Messages, what they mean. And so you can also look into those things. What's funny too is, when I think of this, so this is what's coming in for your family first on a personal level. It's about transformation. You guys are going to be growing and changing from love, and you're going to be healing with the loss, of Bradley in your life, and it's just going to take time. And this is the message. It's really a message of this is going to change, and it's not going to hurt so much anymore. And it's just, it's about, God is there for you, love is there for you. It's about healing, and you are healing. And it is happening, and your whole family is. And as much as the holiday season is going to be difficult for everybody and anybody who loses somebody in their life, okay, it's going to be also one of the most warming, most emotional, incredibly best holidays of your life, because that's how God works. With great pain and suffering come great gifts and magic and love in infinite amounts. So this will be a fantastic holiday season. It doesn't mean that you're not going to hurt at times, or you're not going to grieve, or you're not going to feel sad. And that's all part of the process for all of us, and so, but you will have an incredible feeling of love, an incredible family feeling, just an incredible time. And it's going to be so powerful, both for all the holidays and throughout the holiday season, because that's the magic of love. It always brings wonderful things, especially in our most challenging times, and everything we need, and then some, and then some. Okay, so this is the messages, but I also want to share with you guys, if you haven't seen it, it's really fucking hysterical. You should Google Donald Trump and the snake story that he talks about live on stage, because it's really fucking hysterical. It's where he talks about this woman who has a snake, and in the end, the snake says to the snake bites her. The woman trusts the snake and takes care of him, and basically, and Donald Trump tells this story. It's an old story. But he talks about an old woman, and she takes a snake in who's injured. She nurses the snake back to the health, and in the end, the snake bites her. And in the end, the woman says, "Why did you do that?" And the snake says, "Well, you knew I was a snake." Do you see? So snake has lots of kind of double meanings there, You got to be able to see the darkness when it's there. You have to know how to deal with the darkness when it's there. And these things are all parts and gifts of our transformation. And sometimes we do get bit, right? But then we say, aha, I see that, I recognize that, let me be free of that, and that's not going to happen again if I can help it from love for me. And thanks God for that for me. But the way Donald Trump tells the story, it's really fucking funny. So if you guys want to check it out, it's a great story. It's a lot of fun, and it's just something that I want to share with you so you can check it out. It's neat. All right, so Teresa, anything else that you want to know, just you can PM me or you can ask right here as well. Okay, thanks. All right, who's next?
Susie Lynn.
Okay.
She is wondering if she's blocking any of her blessings.
Okay, Susie Lynn, what makes you say that? Okay, if you can share with us what makes you say that, because the key to this is there. I don't feel like there's anything in particular, but what's happening in your reality is always more to the story in your physicality, what's going on in your life. So when you say, where am I blocking my blessings, what's happening in your life that lends you to feel like that?
She says she feels stuck.
Okay. All right, stuck how? Is the question. Okay, so feeling stuck, we're all kind of feeling stuck in some ways, because it's like we want to move forward and we want to do what we want to do, but we're like walking in with like cement blocks on our feet in many ways because of what's happening in the world. And everything is about God's time. So across the board, you're going to have some of that stuck energy being about God's time, not when you think things should be, but when it is best from love for you and all. That's what God's time is. So that is the energy that I'm picking up on. I do feel, though, that you need some excitement in your life, but that's the only energy that I'm picking up on right now. But if we dive into look around you at your relationships and the things that are going on, and when you say stuck, where are you in the same patterns and in the same ways and not doing anything different to change those things? Because that's where the answer is. Ask God, ask love to find those things, to know those things, to change those things now, please, from love for Susie and all of us, because none of us need to be stuck in these patterns that don't let us move forward, because it's that way on a personal level, and more often than not, we're not seeing those things. So thanks God for these gifts for Susie now, please, and for all of us from love in the purest form, in this reality, any reality, and all that is, and thank you God for that for us. So that's what I'm picking up on right now. I don't feel like anything big is in your way. I really don't. If there's a gigantic big boulder there, they're going to tell me. Right now I get patterns, and it's about changing patterns for you. Taking a look at your patterns, what's happening in your life. Again, it's also about God's time, when it is time, and when it is best for you. And I know we all look for that needle in the haystack, but in this particular case, there's not anything that's a huge stone of detriment that's in your way. There isn't. There isn't, other than these chronic beliefs that you keep going in and don't even realize you got going on. So, but those can add up to that big boulder. So start taking a look at that and peeling those layers apart, because then the energy will be released. Okay? All right, so there you go, my friend. All right, Jen, what was that about?
Oh, I was just listening to what you said.
Oh.
I was just.
Okay. All right. What about you, Deb? You have any question for tonight? No?
No.
Okay. All right. So how many more questions do we got?
We got 2 more online.
Okay. And what time is it?
It is 8:15.
Okay. All right. So we've been working. We've been doing for about an hour. Okay. So we're gonna do 2 more online questions. What do we got, Ray?
We have Andrew. He is asking
Hey,
if
Andrew.
you can tell him a brief description of Aleister Crowley. He's known for his occult writings and teachings, if you know who he is.
Is he like
I put up a pic of him if you want to see it.
Yeah. Please.
I think he died back in the 1940s.
Okay, so he's kind of like got his magic, rock and roll, and the wickedest man in the world. Yes, yeah.
I looked him up real quick, and
Okay.
it said that he's a painter and a novelist and a poet and a magician, and he founded some religion too.
Yeah, well, here's a really good example. The Aleister Crowley manual, because the first thing that came in when you asked me this was the satanic book that we have that's in the back there. What's his name? What is his name?
I don't know his name.
Anton LaVey. You know, there's lots of different factions, Andrew, of darkness, and this is Aleister Crowley. It says the Aleister Crowley manual, and here's all you need to know. You ready? Can you see that? Yeah, that tells you everything. You see what I'm saying?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So, you know, creative or however a creative he is, right? You're taking a really dark energy. That he's a really dark energy, and so you just look at all the pictures, you can see that in the energy. You know, I'm pressing on this one. Yeah, there's like almost like a pyramid, like on his head, and so there's a whole bunch of stuff going on there. If I don't know if you can see that picture over by my thumb here in the corner. All right. So yeah, and so really it's more. Oh yeah, there's the pyramid. It's right on the top, right above him. You know, in this particular one, you see that pyramid. You see so?
Yeah.
Yeah. Debbie, you see it? The pyramid thing?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, well, I mean, all these pictures tell you everything about him as part of darkness. I'm sure you can read more up on him, Andrew, but it's their version of their, basically Satanism at the vibration that they're at as people or energies that have been indoctrinated into this darkness who chose it, basically. They chose this. You can choose dark or you can choose light. That's the free will. This is the nature of God. So Anton LaVey, same thing. What they do is they take what I teach here is the formula of God or love. So they take that and they twist it into their own ideology and then they use the formula of love to manipulate people, like with the COVID-19 shot, to make people think that they're going to kill their grandmothers if they don't get the shot. So it's through manipulation, through darkness in multiple different ways, just like the things they're doing behind the scenes in the collective right here now. You know, it's all of those belief systems, of darkness. You know, there's different rules that are all in alignment with like occultism and satanic shit. And, and then there'll be, dark witchcraft energy. There'll be dark other dimensional energy, whether it's necromancer, lower vibrational demons, higher energies of darkness, like, Anton LaVey, Aleister Crowley, and then, even the people who are at the highest levels of this dark energy, like Elon Musk, what is Xi Jinping, or what is that? Did I say his name right? Yeah. So you're going to see a lot of these darker energies in the higher elevations of Satanism or occultism, whatever you want to call it. But there's two sides. There's dark and there's light, but it is all the energy of God. And what they do is they take this energy, and they manipulate it. If you were to read his book, or like we did a bunch of studies on Anton LaFey, we went through his book, we talked about him, and if you read it, you're like, holy shit, this is basically the manual of love turned upside down, and then they use that energy to manipulate through, a toxic, massive void in one's soul. In other words, it's almost like there is no soul, and that's the creepness about this darkness, and it's really coming to a head now, which is why all the people of the light pretty much have no more tolerance for it. It's like you run into that shit and you're going head to head with that darkness. Now, it doesn't mean that you have to attack it or whatever. It's, in some ways, it's like explaining why Israel would bomb, Palestine or Gaza, because of the horrific atrocities of Hamas. Do you see what I'm saying? And we all know that's a battle that's been going on, but that's what happens. Dark and light come head to head. It doesn't mean that I'm saying all of Israel is light. That's not what I'm saying. And then there's all these secret darknesses behind the scenes, behind the plans. But here is the deal. What's dark is dark. What's demonic is demonic. And beheading and murdering people and in the ways that were done here, all right? People say, well, it's not real. It absolutely is real, but it's not in the way that we think on our belief systems here in Earth World and through the news media and what we are led to believe. Okay, and it's complex. We're led to believe that Israel is of the light, and this is the Palestinians are bad, or this is what people are saying, and the Palestinians are of the light and hate America and all this garbage. So there's all this crap that the Anton LaFey system thrives on. This is what they throw out there, and the same thing with this Aleister Crowley. Same thing. They're throwing out all this shit out here in the reality to manipulate and take control of the whole entire planet, right? And make it be of darkness, of what they want in their dark energy ideology or agenda, okay? So when you ask me about him, take a look at those books. Because, everything that I teach here, where I say, oh, come from love, it's the counter opposite. Everything that they're teaching out here, the wokeism, is all part of that toxic. Doesn't mean that taking the land from the Native Americans wasn't wrong, so to speak. Doesn't mean that at all. They're utilizing that to make you feel like a piece of shit in you, because naturally the human journey is to find your power and self-love here in Earth World. But if they dive into all these avenues where you feel bad about you and brainwash you and make you believe their ideologies, that you're a piece of shit and you're going to kill somebody's grandmother and you're this and that's bad and this is bad and it's your fucking fault and you're toxic, well then they've got you. They've got you. You see? And that's the whole plan of this darkness. So you can read up on how they do this and they manipulate, and they're masters at it. They're masters at it. But just like we have all the power, we are masters at love. And this is what we do. And love has all the power. All the power always. No matter what kind of weirdo shit is going on out there. Okay? So remember that. And so, Andrew, that would be the best way to understand it. Take a look at the books. Take a look at what he did in his life. Take a look at what he's about, because the stories behind everything are always there. Ask God to see the God's honest truth about him, about this, about who he was. You know, there's also other ones. What's the one from the Middle East who's part of the New World Order? All the New World Order is all part of this darkness. And the WHO, the UN is now that. The UN has come over here, right? And so, I mean, and the list gets longer and longer and longer. But they forget that God has all the power, the true God, the true love energy of Earth World. All right? So, who is that? Yep, what is his name?
Noah Harari.
Noah Harari. He's another one. He wrote basically the Code of Ethics of the book of the AI and how people are a piece of shit. And that's the new, what?
Yeah.
Yeah. And the New World Order is all, this is like their Bible. This is their ideology. Look it up. Noah Harari. And what is the name of the book? Do you remember?
Sapiens?
Sapiens, but there's other books that he wrote, so you guys can all check this out, because it gives you, even more of an understanding of how super fucked up and unwell this darkness is. That's why you can't turn your back on it. You have to really pay attention to it. In the olden days, I'd be like, oh, it's okay. I want to do good for this person, even though they didn't do the right thing by me. I'll give them another chance. Fuck you. No more chances here. No more chances here. That's how the light has to treat this incredible darkness, because that's how they will be with you. There won't even be an inkling of a second chance for you. The second you turn your back, you're screwed. So you cannot give to an energy that is void of heart, void of God, void of love, because it'll kick your ass. And really, who's responsible for that? You are, from a bleeding heart space, because you wanted to give. Right? And so it's about boundaries. It's about talking to God. It's about knowing who to give, what to give. It doesn't mean you attack somebody, or you be nasty, or you be shitty or unwell. You will know exactly what to do in any situation when somebody betrays you, or there's unwellness going on, and you know it's a demon, or you know that it's super toxic. You're going to talk to God. You're going to talk to love. You're going to know exactly how to handle it, because you're going to ask. And if you don't ask, or you may already even just know, right? Because that's the connection that you all have, being these light energy beings, and that's all the power. Okay, but for everybody who wants to know, definitely look into those books. I think we've talked about them on the show before. So this is great wisdom for all of you to get a better understanding of how toxic this energy is. Whether you call it whatever you call it, in all the layers of whatever hierarchy you are in your soul, or in all that is God, that is love, or understanding in your vibration. Okay, so what does that mean? That means, there's all different races here from different planets, different worlds, who have come to work with love energy here to change the vibration and eradicate this darkness on the planet. Okay, so whether you're Palladian, whether you're Syrian, whether you're Lyran, whatever it is that you are a particular vibration, and each vibration gets different information and has different understandings, and those are the layers of understanding that dimension. Okay, and those then would be leading to us speaking of it in a different language for each particular vibration. So if you're part of this high-end galactical force, you have everybody has different missions, right, including us, and we are all part of this Christ consciousness. Okay, so this is high-end God energy. All of these different energies. Then you have the people vibration here in Earth World, which is what we are here to help. Okay, so all of these different spaces of God at different vibrations have different ways of speaking of things, and this also makes everything challenging in our communication. But where it becomes not challenging is when we are in our hearts. We ask love to speak through us, ask love to understand, ask love to hear this person, ask love that they hear you, so, and that you understand and you get it, and you have whatever you need for the best communication, because this is all how it works here in Earth World. And it's a major quilt of fabric of complexities based on the vibration that each energy is at different vibrations, and their missions here for the world. And within all of this, the same is true of darkness. Darkness has these same things in their own fabric of all that is their space of dark energy. Okay, so this is gives everybody an understanding of why things, some people will call it, dragon people, people who are not dragon people, but reptilian people, right? They'll be like, oh, he's a fucking reptilian. Like if you see old videos of Jen Psaki, you can see it in her. It's horrible. She's like, sticks out her tongue in the middle of the press conference when she was with Joe Biden. You know what I'm talking about? She'd go like this. I'd be like, holy shit, that's like crazy, but you see it right there, and the eyes, the weirdo shit in the eyes too, like golden eyes, and so, or red eyes, but you will see it and feel it in the energy when people are these different energies. Okay, so some people will call it, these people call these energies these things, whether it's Freemasons, you could call it Freemasons, you could call it, Satanism, occultism, you could say they're dark witches, all the dark different elemental worlds that are here that are part of this, in whatever faction of darkness has their own understandings of how things work. But the same thing is true of the light, the vibrations in humanity, teaching humanity love, and changing what's happening here from love. So this is really to help, again, people understand one more time, or in a different way, from love, how come people understand and say things differently. Like I'll be on the internet and somebody will say, well, it's really like this. Somebody else will say, well, no, it's like this. Well, they're all not wrong. It depends on so many different things, the space of God and the energy you are in, as well as your mission. My mission is to bring people practicality in all that is God, that is love. Because if the people can't understand me on a mass scale of what the hell I'm talking about, then they're never going to get it. If I talk to them high-end intellectual, like let's say, I don't know, what's that guy who's that spiritual teacher who's really of the darkness? Eckhart Tolle. Let's say him, right? Or, where he talks about things in some of his books that are like so convoluted. The best way to speak to people is simply and directly and just get it out there in the easiest, quickest, best way, in layman's terms, really. And so this is my job. But each level of all different consciousness has different levels, and it's not that one is wrong or one is right, but you can't force other people to speak in the way that you speak. So the best thing for you to do, and this is for all of us, is ask God, ask love. How do I understand them? Tell me how to understand them. Tell me what they're saying. I do it all the time. I get people who are talking intellectually like hardcore, and I'm like, what? I'm like, what the fuck are you talking about? And some of it is so convoluted and so toxic and so dark and unwell. And some of it's absolutely brilliant and thought of it really, truly in a totally different way. And it's of the light. But for me to understand it, there are times when I'm just like, hey, okay, God. And all the time, I'm always talking to God and working with God or love. How do I get this? What are they trying to say to me? What am I not understanding? How do I respond? Because I'm like confused by this, but if they're putting stuff out there also, their intent is everything as well. If people are putting stuff out there, their intent is everything as well. Why would they be coming to my page and sharing their stuff? Are they sharing it from a positive, healthy space? Are they trying to debunk me? Are they trying to say this is different, or that they're the teacher and they know more than me, or the ego space is there, or their intent, or they want to just be nasty, or you know what I mean? And you will feel that in whatever is said, always, whether it's on the internet or anywhere. Anywhere in your life, you feel people's energy and you go, yeah, that's dark, that's shitty, that's toxic, that's unwell. And I used to say that to my dog all the time, because dogs and pets are fantastic energies for knowing exactly, even when you think they don't, knowing exactly what the fuck is going on. I used to say to my nanny dog all the time, you know, because she did know. And she knew infinite, as do all of us, right? We just listen to our heart and we feel it. Okay, that said, let's move on to the next question. I know we went above and beyond and in different spaces, but it's always, always, always called in by love, God, universe, angels to help and assist us. And thanks, Andrew, for your question. And if you have more to it, please ask. And again, like I said, you guys can all look into all those books and things, and you'll find even more information and answers about how that kind of stuff works. Okay? All right. So, who's next?
Susie Lynn.
Okay.
She had a dream that her mother had a stroke. She says her mother in the dream got to the hospital in time and has no residual issues. I told her about the dream today, and she's looking for some clarity about the dream. She believes her dreams are prophetic.
Yeah, it's prophecy. It absolutely is prophecy. I don't know if you were here last week, Susie Lynn, but we talked about these cool prophecy stones. Yeah, neat stuff, right? Something you might want to look into, the cool prophecy stones. They'll help you gain clarity on your is it prophetic? I think is that the word? Prophetic gifts. But the dream was definitely prophecy. I do feel in some way you definitely saved her, but this doesn't mean, I'm sure you know, that she's out of the woods. So getting more understanding on it, you definitely helped. You were definitely right on it. There is no question about it that you basically, you could say you saved her. But here's the deal. Now that you know about this, or that she knows about this, what is she going to do to change it? Because prophecy can reappear over and over, especially in cases like this when it comes to our health, because these are gifts from universe and God when things work out in a positive way from prophecy of a message for us to change these things, and if we don't want to change our behavior, that's okay. But just like all that is karma, if we don't change, then certain things will happen. So there is a propensity for this 57 to 83% to happen again down the road. unless your mother decides to change some of the things that she's doing for her health. Now, that could be doing allopathic medicine. It could be doing, whatever, any kind of alternative medicine. But this is kind of stuff, spiritual work. There's a million and one different ways to heal people or to work with God or work with love, both in earth world and metaphysically, and in all different formulas for your best health and well-being, right? So there's a million and one ways for her to look into. But the truth is, it must be done for her to not hit this crossroad again and run into some trouble. Okay, trouble meaning, possibly TIA or something more challenging. And they do have some incredible gifts in allopathic medicine. They absolutely do. But, you got to feel in your heart, because what's right for you. Again, it's her belief systems. Where does she want to go with her best healing with this? If she's, totally engrossed in allopathic medicine, I get it. And a lot of times we can't make people get out of those spaces. So then that is the medicine that she chooses, right? That's what the soul chooses, and that's okay. But you can use, and I totally believe in all that is God, that is love, as the medicine that we can utilize from love. Not just allopathic, and not just, any kind of holistic alternatives, everything. So if God leads me to this in the now, then this is where I go to if it's a solution in allopathic medicine. And sometimes that will happen. Sometimes I'll send somebody to the doctors for an antibiotic for something important like visual stuff or eyesight, where you have to make sure that your eyes are okay so you don't lose your vision, and you need something like that in the moment. All right, doesn't mean that there isn't homeopathic things that you can't use. It depends on the belief system that people are in, as well as the urgency of what's really going on there. And do I want to address this quickly? Whether there's a massive eye infection and somebody's kid is going to lose their vision, or do they need open heart surgery? I want to send them to the emergency room because they need the best doctor to help them in that way, and that's what you call critical care, this kind of stuff. And so there will still be a world in the future for allopathic medicine for sure, especially when the toxic gets eradicated. There'll be incredible, amazing, just like the Age of Aquarius, that song, there's going to be incredible, amazing technology, amazing, wonderful intellectual gifts, all from love, because it will be about heart wisdom, and that trumps everything. Okay, that trumps everything. All right, so there's your answer, girl, and I know that you know that. All right, okay, so do we have anyone else?
No, nobody else online.
All right, what time are we at?
8:36.
8:36. Okay, Sophia, did you have a question?
Yeah, if that's okay.
Yeah.
I was wondering if my prophecy stone that you gave me has a name.
Okay. I do. So Sophia is asking me what she got a prophecy stone. She wants to know if it has a name, and it does have a name. Did you hear what I almost said? I almost said Susan when I said that. Yeah. So it is Susan.
Oh, that's funny.
It's funny. It is funny. They've been giving us back a lot of really old world names. Like the crystal ball here is Robert. We got this big crystal ball here in the shop, and its name is Robert. I'll show you if I can pick him up. Oh, I don't know if I can. Oh, this is Robert. He's gigantic. He's right in the doorway here at the shop. But anyways, so it's funny because universe will tell me these names, and it's crazy, right? Because everything has an energy of God or love in it and is alive in some way, shape, or form. You don't have to believe it, but it doesn't even matter. What matters though is that we share this wisdom with you, and whatever space of God you're in, you do with it from love what you so choose. And when and in time, you too can have a better understanding of it if you're not in those spaces, as well as you can always ask God or love to believe, to see what we're talking about here. But it's a lot of fun though, naming things and finding out their names, and everything has an energy and a magic within it, including people and animals, and really nothing is what everybody thinks here in Earth World. It's so amazing and so incredible and so beyond incredible, it really truly is. Okay, so you good?
Yeah, thank you.
All right, we got about 10 more minutes, right?
Yeah.
Okay, all right. So I'm not sure exactly how far we're going to get into it, but there's some things that I want to talk to you about, the Donald Trump, the Vladimir Putin, and the chart stuff. excuse me. I did want to say some stuff about that, but I think I'm going to put that off till next week because we only have about 10 minutes, and I really want to elaborate on it because it's really incredible wisdom for understanding of how our souls work and the energies and the differences in the psychology of our soul. Because in the future, we're going to be doing shows on exactly that. We're going to be dealing with addiction and psychology, mental illness, all right, and they're all going to be wrapped up in shows so that we can help people understand a different way to heal themselves by working with the soul, by working through astrology, by doing energy work, to eradicate addiction, to eradicate mental illness, whether it be schizophrenia, bipolar, anxiety. So these new shows are going to be coming. Higher Knowing, of course, and 6 and 1. I think we just lost our connection, but I think we got it back. 6 and 12 Medical Intuitive. As we talk about health stuff, and all of these are intertwined. So we're going to do the Medical Intuitive shows again, as well as the addiction and mental illness or psychological well-being show, so that we can help everybody. If you want to bring your stuff here, you can always call in and be anonymous to really start banging out all the things that are our patterns that make us sick and make us unwell, physically, mentally, whether we understand it or not, consciously or not, and we'll bring out those tools and we'll start banging them out on the show. It's going to be a more intense show. It's not going to be on this show pretty much. We've done some of this work here, and we've talked about all of this in our live forum here, or live talk forum here, but we're going to get more into that into the future, okay, as we go down this path, because there's a better way, a way better way, an easier way. And people think, well, I can't change this, and I can't change that I'm bipolar, and I can't change that I have schizophrenia, or I can't change all of this. Yes, you can. Yes, you can. The difference is teaching people how to address these things, as well as addictions. Yes, you can change them, and they say, they have all these other groups out here in Earthworld, and they're all part of the puzzle, but we're going to bring to you a different way, along with all the best ways from love to work with these energies of our unwellnesses, what I call our psychological unwellnesses in our souls, our addictions, our sicknesses that are of always an energetic nature. Okay, so that said, that's going to be coming in the future. To let you guys know, I'm not exactly sure when. It's kind of like I'm waiting, kind of like Susie Lynn. I got my cement boots on, and I'm like, waiting. I'm waiting, right? But also, I wanted to talk to you guys about your packages, things that are coming in the mail. All right, I have run into, this is great tips for you for tonight. This is the last part of our show I wanted to share with you. All right, I have bought some stuff from Young Living. As you know, Young Living is an essential oil company. They have great products. However, one of the things that I just ran into is that we got double charged for shipping, and if I wasn't on it, this would not have been brought to my attention. Do you understand? So I want to share this with you because I ordered something, and then right after that I ordered something else in one of their programs. So they charged me 2 separate things for shipping, and so I'm thinking 2 boxes are going to be coming at separate times because they're separate orders, and they put everything in the same box. And it's crazy because that basically is stealing from us. They may not say so, but it absolutely is. And I have done this 100 times before, probably, most likely, because I have done Young Living for years, right? I've worked with Young Living, I work with doTERRA, all right? And so I have bought stuff from them for years, and I actually called them up on it, and I said to them, hey, what the hell? You charge me for this. Am I getting another package? And they're like, well, no, that's the only package that you're getting. And I said, well, you charged me twice for shipping. What about the money coming back, right? And so this is for everybody to be aware of, that this is happening out there, because if I didn't call them, I'd be fucked. And let's say it's just $10, but 100 times 10 is how much money? Do you see what I'm saying? Yeah. Over time. And how many more people are they doing this to? Really, this could be a class action lawsuit, because this is bullshit. But this is the toxic that's going on in these times. Whether it's through people who are inept or don't get it or don't realize this is happening, this is not right. It's not right. It's out of alignment with love. So we're going to share that with you guys, okay? This was through Young Living. I had another thing, and normally, well, basically, I love my products from Young Living. I absolutely love the product, and that's why I get it. I don't care for the customer service; they suck, and they're not nice. All right, they're toxic as fuck. It's their ideology or the highway. So and I'm just speaking the truth, the God's honest truth. They're out of alignment with love. It is what it is. However, in their mad ideology of that which is Young Living, all right, I feel they used to be better from the past times. Okay, that said, I will still buy products guided by higher knowing from them from a space of love, but I'm going to be on my shit. Because if I feel this is the best product for me, I will buy it guided by God. Not because I want to give them business, because I want what is best for me and all of my healing gifts and my people. Okay? So that said, it's important that you guys know that this is going on with this particular company, but it's not just this company, it's all of them. The other thing that I'm finding is I'm not getting my refunds in the bank. They're sending the money, they say the money's there, they're not doing it. They charged me twice for the fucking flowers I sent you. They told me, oh, it's going to be dropped in a few days, right? And I'm like, what the fuck, man? Twice. They said, oh, it's going to be dropped, but if you don't get on your shit, you're going to be charged twice, and nobody fucking cares, right? So you guys got to get on it, because this is the stuff that's going on. I had another order, Chewies. I ordered fish oil for the dogs, right? Yeah, fish oil for the dog, right? I ordered like 6 bottles of it, I think, or a whole bunch of bottles of it, right? Oh, and 2 months go by, and I'm like, where the hell is that fish oil? I call up Chewies. They're like, oh, yeah, FedEx returned it. The box broke, and the oils were broken. I'm like, yeah? Well, where the fuck is my money? Really? Where is my money? They're like, oh, yeah, well, I don't know, you should have contacted FedEx. And I'm like, what the hell? It's not my job. You sent a product. FedEx is your carrier. That's not how it works. And if I didn't call them or think, where is that oil? And then when they sent replacement oil, and one of them was broken again, and I'm like, oh God, So this is what's going on here. I want to share this with you guys because it's no joke. They're stealing from you left and right. And it's all this incredible darkness. And I'm sorry to say, but this is what's going on. And if you aren't on your shit for you, it's more likely to happen to you. And it's not just a me thing. And it's not just a one company thing. It's across the board. So here they are blaming FedEx for me not getting my package when really they took my money. They should be calling me up saying, Lynn, we're sorry, this happened. We're going to resend you your package. 2 months goes by. I don't even hear about them. And then they act like it's my fucking fault. Like they're not responsible for this. I'm like, what is wrong here? But this is all that energy of the darkness and earth world. So be on it, people. Be on it so that you can protect yourself from all this crap that's going on here. Definitely check your stuff in the bank. Make sure you get the refund, and make sure you're on it. Okay, that said, that's what I wanted to share with you guys tonight because it's crazy stuff that's going on out there because it's such a super unwell world. But you have all the power. Work with God or love. Ask to know the truth, the God's honest truth. But this is the stuff that's going on. All right? So gifts and tools to protect you. All right, so are we at closing time?
Yeah.
I feel like we are.
Right on time.
All right, so we're right on time for closing tonight. We'll be on next week, next Wednesday, but we will be bringing to you our new show coming soon. Our new show's because we're going to do the medical intuitive stuff. We're going to talk about health issues, and we're going to bring to you natural products and alternatives, as we've done throughout our segments here as well. Okay, thanks everybody for coming, and we'll see you next Wednesday. As you know, our live talk forum show is Wednesdays at 7:15 every Wednesday evening. Thank you all for coming. If you can donate, please do. And thank you everybody who does donate in whatever way you do. We're super grateful. Thanks for helping us keep going. Thanks for helping us bring all these great tools and gifts from love to you. Thank you. All right. Have a great night, everybody. We'll see you next week.